What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Truck Talk, brought to you by me. And because Mondays are Q&A, this one's inspired by you guys. I appreciate all the questions that you asked on the post that I made this week for this particular episode. As usual, they were good ones, but overwhelmingly, there were many questions about the riots that are happening in the streets of Los Angeles right now, the city of angels. And I don't even know that we could categorize what's happening as riots. I think it would be more accurate to categorize it as a we are literally under attack, or we are and have been invaded by a force of criminals and terrorists. So I don't know that you could categorize it as a riot. I want you guys to go and read a book. Before we go any further into this, I want you to go read a book called Black Autumn. All right? Don't read it at night because it'll keep you up at night. It's that good. But it paints a really, I believe, potentially accurate picture of what is going to or could potentially happen when this nation, the United States, finally is shaken, when this fragile economy that we have built off of fiat currency and technology, and when the stock market finally collapses, when everything is shaken, these hordes of illegal immigrants and criminals who have infiltrated our country are going to have a distinct advantage because they are ruthless, they are somewhat organized, and yeah, that book's going to give you a lot of insight, and I think play into what you might see happening in Los Angeles right now. Check it out. California is a failed state. If you haven't arrived at that conclusion yet, well, then you haven't been paying attention. It's been a failed state for a long, long time because of their ridiculous policies and their freaking liberal ideologies and their moral decay, and it's just all a mismatch of stuff, right? And the federal government has been propping the state of California up for quite a while now. It looks like they're going to have to come and prop them up again because they can't quell this invasion that they are under right now, or they're choosing not to. They're afraid to, for whatever reason. So the federal government's going to have to come in and prop them up. What would be the other option would be for the citizens of California to rise up, get organized, and take their state back from this invasion of illegal immigrant criminal terrorists. Well, we all know that's not going to happen, because then the federal government would turn on the citizens of California and probably lock them up before they locked up these terrorists. That's a shame, right? Remember when we were told as citizens of not only the United States, but as our individual states, to maintain a well-regulated militia? Well, it's to protect against invasion. What we also see happening is really all over the country, not just in California, is just a repeat of history. What's happening in the United States is essentially the same process that eventually caused the collapse of the Roman Empire. We cannot escape it. The collapse of empires is a cyclical thing that I don't know why we think we're immune to it here in the United States. The Roman Empire reached its zenith, and then it began to become corrupt morally, financially. It began to rot from the inside, and they could no longer and would no longer protect their borders. And slowly over time, they were infiltrated by what they called barbarians, non-Roman citizens. And eventually, once those barbarians infiltrated that empire, that was the straw that broke the camel's back and caused the empire to collapse. the same thing will eventually happen here in the United States because we're too far down this path. We cannot escape it. I'm not going to comment on the governor out there and their politics and all that stuff because none of that should be a surprise to you. I will say this. Again, I think that like the Roman Empire, even after their collapse, they maintained the illusion of power for quite some time. And I think that's the stage we're in here in the United States. But eventually, that even becomes an impossibility. And what I personally believe is everything, the stage is being set for all nations to be rolled into being a part of a single world government or system. And I think that when the United States can no longer maintain their illusion of power and this empire does collapse, I think it's going to be a major turning point in the history, the human history, or the history of this age that we are living in. And I think preceding that, you will see a one world governmental system that will seem to be a utopia, but we all know how that pans out. So I don't know why you're surprised that a failed state is being invaded or has been invaded, and you're simply seeing the results of that. What can you do? Well, about the only thing you could do if you were out in California would be to get organized and take your state back. We talked about that ain't gonna happen. So your only other option is to stay as far away from them cities as you can. Figure out how to live a quiet life, work with your hands, and mind your own business till it comes to your doorstep. You ain't left with much. You ain't got as many options as you think you got. The tides are changing. It's a slow process. I hate to be so dismal. It's simply what I believe. It's all good though. I love you guys. If you got anything out of this, leave me a comment. Go get you a hat. Get you a t-shirt. If you want to support us here at 307 Project, it keeps my man Chili in the dungeon so I can keep these truck talks coming. Enough said.